This is an example of the type of woman that you do want to be. Give me Genesis 13, start with verse 14.
Alright. It's 13 and verse 14. Okay, and the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward, for all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
Exactly. So this is just showing that God chose Abraham and give him and his children the land of Israel. All right?
Right.
Specifically through his sons Isaac and Israel. But we ain't getting into that, because what we want to get into is Sarah. All right, so give me Genesis 16. The Sarah being the wife of Abraham. All right, Genesis 16, start with 1. So initially, Abraham's name was Abram and Sarah's name was Sarai. But later they were changed because of their spiritual journey.
Right.
But start with verse 1 in Genesis 16.
Alright, now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she made an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
Right.
She had him.
Right, exactly. So Sarai was barren, right? She her womb, they told her that she could never have kids, right? So she did have a maid whose name was Hagar. Read.
And Sarai said unto Abram, behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. Right,
so Sarai is the type of woman that said, you know what, I know Abram really wants a son. He can't have it with me. You can have a son with Hagar. And we can raise the child as our own.
Right.
All right, read.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
All right, keep reading.
And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Right, exactly. So here we see that Abram, okay, so he got married, got him a second wife with Hagar. They immediately started having sex and had a baby, right?
Right.
So Hagar, as soon as she got pregnant, she started to think she was better than Sarah.
Sarai.
Yeah, Sarai at this point.
Right.
But yeah, keep reading.
And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee.
Right, so now she's getting emotional. She starts blaming Abram. But this is what Sarai did. This is the result of her own actions.
This was her idea.
This was her idea, right? And now Hagar is feeling some type of way, but she's blaming Abram at this point. All right, read.
But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand, to do her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
Right, so Abram said, I don't care about Hagar. You're the one who told me to marry her and try to have a child with her. Right. You do whatever you want to with her. So Sarai starts smacking around, beating her up.
Right.
All right? So keep reading.
And the angel of the Lord found her by the fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou? Whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hand.
Right, so this Hagar, obviously her seed is not, or rather the seed of Abraham through her is not chosen.
Right.
She was chosen to be a servant to Sarai and to Abram. All right, read.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
Right, so the angel said, look, I hear you. You're going to have a son. He's going to be blessed in that. He's going to be very very populous, right? Multiply very exceedingly. He's going to be Ishmael. All right? Keep reading.
And he will be a wild man.
Right, so how wild is Ishmael? He'll blow himself up and say glory to God while he does it.
Right.
Even though there's nowhere in the Bible say anything like that.
Well, at all.
Alright, read.
Alright, and his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him.
Ishmael done went through, he's in every country.
Yeah.
He's in every country and he's fighting against everybody. Alright, he does not care. Even over there in the east, he's from Morocco to Kazakhstan, right, to Pakistan. He's in all that area, fighting against everybody.
Everybody.
Alright, read.
Alright, let's see. And he will be a wild man, his hand against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
Right, so he's dwelling in the presence of the Israelites over there, that's in Africa and in the Middle East. He's dwelling in the presence of all the Shemitic people that's over there,
Right.
that aren't chosen by God, but still Shemitic. Right, he's in the presence of even Hebrews that aren't from the seed of Peleg over there. Once you get towards the Hispanic countries, so Ishmael's in the presence of all his brethren over there in the Middle East.
I thought that'd say from every lineage.
Yeah.
It said you can find some over there.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, we're not talking about Ishmael because he's not chosen, and he's not even the son of Sarah. But it had to be pointed out how Ishmael came about was through a kindness that Sarah did. Obviously, she regretted it,
Right.
but it was through a kindness that she did that Ishmael was even born.
Right, exactly.
All right, so pick up with 17 and verse 1.
Alright. Chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9.
99 years old.
Right.
All right.
The Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
And be perfect. That's what God wants us to do.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
That's right, read.
And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
A father of many nations, not just Ishmael, but many nations. All right, read.
Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee.
A father of many nations, that's what Abraham means. Read.
And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Like the King of Kings, Jesus the Christ. All right, read.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and their generations for an everlasting covenant to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
Right, so God said, I will establish my covenant with your seed, Abraham. Not through Ishmael, but through Isaac. Read.
And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God.
Right, exactly. So, the next he goes into circumcision. We can jump over that for now. That's the covenant that God established with Abraham was circumcision. Jump down to verse 15.
Alright, verse 15. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah.
But Sarah.
Shall her name be.
Right, and emphasis on princess. That's what Sarah means. All right, read.
And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Right, so he said, look, I'm still going to give you a son through Sarah. Even though you already have a son with Hagar, I ain't choosing him.
Right.
All right? I'll bless him for your sake, but you're going to have a son with Sarah. All right, read.
Then Abraham fell upon his face, and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear?
Right, so he didn't even laugh out loud, and didn't even say this out loud. He's thinking within himself, really? This 90-year-old woman, I'm 100 years old, really gonna have a son?
Right, but she's far past menopause.
She done went through menopause 40 years ago.
That was it.
Read.
Alright. And Abraham said unto God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
All right, he said, please bless Ishmael. All right, Ishmael's already here. He's having doubts about whether God's going to bring this other child.
Right.
Bless Ishmael, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right, read.
And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant and with his seed after him.
Right, so Abraham said, oh, bless Ishmael. God said, oh, I ain't finished. Let me finish.
Right.
I'm talking about Isaac. You're going to name him Isaac because Isaac means laughter. You're laughing that I'm telling you this. That's why you're going to name him Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And I'm going to establish my covenant with him and his seed after him. All right? Read.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Right, exactly. So Ishmael got 12 tribes amongst them, the same way that Israel got 12 tribes amongst us.
Right. And he said he will make Ishmael a great nation. But what is it? Abraham?
The father of many nations.
Many nations.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So he said, look, I hear you about Ishmael. I'll bless him for your sake. All right, but I'm not choosing him. I'm choosing your son Isaac, who
Right.
Sarah will give birth to. All right?
Right.
Verse 21.
Alright, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
All right, so he said, this time next year, Isaac will be born.
Right.
All right? So from there, Genesis 18, start verse 1.
Alright, 18:1. And the Lord appeared unto me in the plains of Mamre. He sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant.
Right, so Abraham's chilling here, and then he is approached by Jesus and 2 angels. All right, and Abraham recognizes the Lord. He said, please come and sit with me for a while. Read.
Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree.
He said, look, I'll take care of you. I'll feed you. Wash you. You just come in and chill and talk with me. All right, read.
And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, after that you shall pass on. For therefore are you come to your servant? And they said, So do as thou hast said.
Right, so he said, okay, so that's why you're here to make a pit stop, right? I'll do all that for you.
Right.
I'll set you up so that you can continue on your journey. All right, read.
And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth.
Right, so notice that Abraham said that he would do these things, and he went in and told Sarah, here's what I need you to do. I need you to do this, that, this, make the cake so that they can eat. All right? So that's how the house is supposed to be ordered.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to have Abraham, who is the man of the house, serving the Lord, and then he comes into his wife and says, okay, I need this, that, and this.
Exactly. You got to delegate.
Yes.
As the man of the house.
Exactly. All right, read.
Alright. And Abram ran into the herd, and fetched the calf, tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it.
Right, exactly. So Abraham had his own servants and things like that. He was handling the flocks out in the field while Sarah's handling the cooking on the inside.
Right.
All right, read.
And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat.
Right, they had a nice meal set up for him. Had a nice meal set for him. All right, read.
And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent.
Right, so she's inside.
Right. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind.
Right, so she's eavesdropping.
Right.
And according to the time of life, it's saying like 9 months, 40 weeks, whatever you want to call it. And you're gonna have a child, right? You're gonna conceive soon, and you're gonna have a child that develops in the womb.
Right. Or really, that depends on the woman and what her body can bear. Like
Right.
that is 37 or 38 weeks.
Well, yeah, like I said, anywhere from 9 months to 40 weeks, it's usually in there.
Right.
All right. But that's the time of life. All right. Read.
Alright, now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women.
Right. She had stopped menstruating by that point. She had gone through menopause. All right. That's how you know there's a miracle from the Lord that this happened. All right. That's why Abraham was doubting. He knew that his wife already been through menopause.
Right.
He lived through it.
And what happens when they go through menopause?
They can't have no periods no more. They can't have periods. No,
So
she's eavesdropping. She hears this. She's 90 years old. Right, done been through menopause, all that kind of stuff. So read verse 12.
Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also?
Right. So how can we
Have sex.
have sex? How can we be pleased in life with a child at this point?
And she says you can't get wet and he can't get hard.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're both old.
Right.
They stopped having sex a long time ago.
Right.
But she laughed within herself. So again, this isn't even like an audible laugh. She just
No.
like kind of like chuckling to herself.
Right. It's just doubt creeping in.
It's just doubt. Read.
And the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh?
Right. So Christ is sitting there, and Christ knows what's going on all around him. So he's saying, why is she laughing?
Right.
He knows that she's eavesdropping, but he didn't bring it up until she done something she wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
Why is she laughing?
Until now she's not taking me seriously, thinking I'm a joke, thinking this is all a joke.
Yeah, is this a joke to you?
Right.
Abraham, correct your wife. Why is she laughing?
Right.
It's your wife. Why is she laughing at the word of the Lord? Alright, read.
Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child which am old?
Mm-hmm.
Is anything too hard for the Lord?
He's saying, look, you saying that I can't do it?
Right.
That I can't make it happen? Alright, read.
At the time appointed will I return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son.
He said, I'm going to come back when Isaac's born.
Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid, and said, nay, but thou didst
And the Lord
laugh.
said, no, I heard you.
Right.
I heard you laugh. And she's thinking, she's laughing to herself. She didn't even laugh at all.
And it wasn't even a, audible laugh.
Right. She just shut.
I didn't laugh, because she didn't.
Right. But God knows her thoughts.
Right.
Alright? So from there, we got the prophecy of Isaac. Go to Genesis 21. I'm sorry,
Alright, this is 21:1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken.
Right. 9 months from then, from the time of life, she had Isaac. And the Lord appeared. Alright?
For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken to him.
That's right. Read.
And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him.
Right, exactly. That's according to the law. 8 days old when you circumcise a child. Read.
And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him.
Right, he was 100 years old. Alright, read.
And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me.
Right, so now we're all in on the joke.
Right.
Now we're all laughing because we know the prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
That our forefather Isaac was chosen by God. His son Israel was chosen by God. And the 12 tribes are chosen by God.
And we come from 2 old people that couldn't even have.
You're right, exactly. Yeah, 2 old people that were not supposed to have a kid in the first place.
Right. And that's where all Most High's chosen people come from.
Exactly.
Not to mention other people as well, but
Yeah.
definitely
the many nations
Right.
that come from Abraham.
Right.
But yeah, keep reading.
Alright. And
Verse
she
7.
said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I had borne him a son in his old age.
Right, nobody would have guessed something like this would have happened.
Never.
Alright, read.
And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned.
Right, back then weaning usually was like 3 to 4 years. That would still be, sucking on mom too. But whenever he stopped, that's when Abraham threw a feast. She could have been anywhere from like 3 to 4 or 5 or whatever. Read.
And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking.
Right, so here you see, because Ishmael at this time was, he was like a teenager. And Isaac was a little toddler.
Right.
So Ishmael picking on Isaac, that's not a fair fight.
No.
Not at that time.
Right, or he's saying, you done with mama's tit, you done on your tit, yeah. Just clowning his little brother.
And Hagar, instead of correcting her son, she's acting on.
Right, exactly. Or she thinks it's
let it
funny.
happen, yeah.
Right.
Alright, read.
Alright. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac.
Right, so Sarah said, look, this is my servant. Why is she still here? I don't want her here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because Abraham, what he say to her a couple chapters over, she's yours.
Right.
She will do whatever you want.
Right. So send her and her son out of here.
Right.
All right. Read.
Alright. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son.
Right, because he loved Ishmael.
Right.
Even though Ishmael wasn't chosen by God, he's still Abraham's son.
First one.
Yeah, it's his firstborn son, technically.
Right.
All right.
His first child.
His first child. So of course he was very he's grieved about that. He was very hesitant to just throw out his son, his baby mama.
As much as he don't give a damn about Hagar, he still don't want to lose his first son. He said out here.
Exactly. But keep reading on that.
And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
All right, finish 13.
And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed.
Right, so God said, look, stop getting emotional.
Right.
What Sarah said was right, because Ishmael will not coexist with Isaac.
Right.
Get Hagar and Ishmael out of here.
Out of here. And
Right.
stop worrying about it. I got it.
Right,
Just
exactly.
listen to what she said.
Exactly. I'm going to take care of Ishmael. Don't worry. I'm going to make a great nation out of him. But you got to send him out right now,
Right.
so that we could focus on Isaac, because he's the chosen.
Right.
All right. So here we see what Sarah did. She followed Abraham and all he went through. She wasn't perfect.
Right.
Right. You sisters, you don't have to be flawless. Right. You're not going to live up to the measure of Christ.
Right.
But if you follow Sarah's example, and give me this here in 1 Peter 3, and we'll start with verse 1 in 1 Peter 3. If you follow Sarah's example, then you would be doing things that your husband tells you to do. You'll be blessed with children, right? And you'll even do things for your husband that may not initially be something that, how do I explain this? 'Cause I'm trying to call back to how Sarah told Abraham that he could go in unto Hagar, right? It's
Right.
not something that she wanted, it was something her husband
The
wanted.
desire was to Abraham. She
Right.
knew he wanted a son. So as much as she did not want him to have a second wife, much less know another woman, she knew how much his desire was to have a child, much less a son. So therefore, her desire was to Abram.
That's
to
right.
make sure he got the son that she felt she could not give him.
That's absolutely right. So with those specific circumstances, as far as any sisters, I wouldn't tell you to let your husband have sex with another woman.
Right.
Of course not. But
Right.
what we're saying is, do things for your husband that you may not even want.
Right, or
But
not
some-
understand
might
the
understand.
pros of.
Yeah.
But if it's something your husband is saying, this will profit our house, even if you don't understand it or don't agree with it, no matter what, do it and honor him, and it will be an honor unto you from the Lord.
That's right. So that's what Sarah did. As it said in Ephesians, honor your husband in everything.
Right, and everything.
In everything. So 1 Peter 3, start with verse 1.
Alright, 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1, you said?
Yeah, start with 1. We're going to read down.
1 Peter 3 and 1. Alright, likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word, be won by the conversation of the
You
wise.
see that right there? So it said, wives, be subject to your husband. And he's specifically talking about women who come into the truth before their husbands.
Right.
You hear the word and you start to apply it in your life. Your husband is going to see the change in you, how you took off the pants, started wearing dresses,
Right.
how now you listen to what he says and you're silent, and how you're more willing to do things for him. And he's going to be like, dang, she must be doing what is she talking
I
about?
like this.
What is she doing? What's that Bible stuff that you're talking
Alright,
about?
hey, something about that's good.
Exactly. So the husbands can be won over, not with the woman coming to him like, you need to do this, you need to do that, but coming with wisdom,
Right.
and just applying the Bible to your life first, and then him seeing the change in you, seeing how you walk different and talk different.
Right,
Alright.
exactly. While they be, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
Right, coupled with the fear of God. Alright, they see your chaste conversation, as in you're not talking about all the wicked things that you used to talk about.
Right, or talking much at all. And if you are, it's as of the oracles.
That's right. He don't hear you on the phone with your friends all the time talking about clubbing and talking about drinking and partying and gossiping. Right.
All the same old bull.
They see your chaste conversation.
Right.
Coupled with
With
the fear of God. Yeah.
Right.
Alright, read.
Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel.
Right, so it's not about your outward appearance.
Right.
Alright.
And radiant, as women call it, that they spend so much of their lives doing, bro.
Oh man, if you look at like the expense of the black woman, of how much she spends on her outward appearance, it's ridiculous.
That's what I'm about to say.
It's a whole like $1 million house payment that they're spending on their appearance every month.
Absolutely. Or hell, one aspect of it. Nails or hair.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
Right.
I seen some prices that some women were putting on Facebook, and I was like, $400 for getting your hair done?
Yes, bro. Insane. And that's a whole day process.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how much time they've wasted on an outward appearance. Something that's vain.
Especially on like wigs and stuff that's not even their hair. Nails that are not even their nails.
Make you look critter-like.
It's ridiculous. So Peter said, and the same thing that Paul said, don't focus on your outward appearance so much.
Right.
Of course, women want to be beautiful. Men want women to be beautiful. We're not saying don't be beautiful. What we're saying is focus on your spirit first.
Right.
Focus on your soul first. And that's what he's about to say right here. Keep reading.
Right. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price.
See, that's heavy right there. Because when it said the hidden man, which is not corruptible, first of all, everybody ages.
Exactly.
Everybody, has blemishes. Everybody, at this point dies.
Right, and that's what I'm about to say. Could be, like, let's say something that somebody else could corrupt.
Yeah.
Which means they inflict harm on you.
Yes.
And, like, scar your face.
Yes, exactly. But it said the ornament of a meek, which means obedient and quiet spirit. That's something women don't understand today. First of all, being obedient, they don't understand nothing about that.
Right.
And they don't understand nothing about being quiet.
Right. About just putting your head down and go to work.
Yes.
For good.
Just stay to yourself.
Right.
Alright? You ain't gotta be out in everybody's faces.
Worried about all
trying to get the attention
things.
of everybody. Yeah. Worry about all your own, what'd you say, feelings?
Not worried about the wrong thing.
Worry about the wrong thing. That's right. I got you. Alright. Which in the sight of God is a great price. It's a great thing for a woman to be meek and quiet.
Right.
The Lord treasures that thing. But it's so rare.
Exactly.
Alright. Keep reading.
Alright. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
You see that right there? So he said, that's how it was in the old days, because in the Roman days that Peter was living in, that Christ lived in, they were very similar to the days that we live in now.
Right.
Where most people just doing whatever they want to do.
Absolutely.
Alright, they just run around partying, drinking.
Who established that societal norm.
Yeah, the Greeks and the Romans.
Right.
Yeah.
But in particular during the time of Christ Rome and what we need today.
Yeah.
The extension of, that's one of the...
That's right. So yeah, back then everybody was just doing everything that they wanted to do as far as partying, as far as sexual, as far as the holidays that they kept.
Right.
They were just doing all their own things. So
read in Genesis 2, every people did unto their own will.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, so even Peter is harking back to a time before him that said, but women used to live the way that they were supposed to, and they they were in subjection to their own husbands. Yeah, read.
All right, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
Right, so Peter is saying you can be chosen the same way that Sarah was chosen if you follow after her works. If you do the same thing she did, as far as it says do well and you're not afraid with any amazement. Alright?
Being amazed that a woman is not equal to a man, like you've been taught your
Exactly.
whole
Being
life.
afraid to go against the grain.
Exactly, and being afraid of what others might think of you when they see you in nothing but a dress with your head covered, and going the exact opposite way that you've been taught, especially in America, to think your whole life. That's where the fear comes in, and the opinions of others, which do not matter in the least.
In the least. Alright? So keep reading on that.
Alright. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, and your prayers be not hindered.
So if a husband and a wife are in disagreement and strife, and they're praying for different things, neither of those prayers are being answered.
Right. Because you're no longer one flesh.
That's right. For a husband and a wife, their prayers to be answered and not hindered, you have to come together as one in righteousness.
Right.
Alright?
Exactly. Well ordered.
That's right.
Which means she's trying to end around her husband and pray
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes. She sees that her husband is praying for one thing, and then she goes to the other room, Lord, don't give him that. Give him this. Give me that.
Alright. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous.
Right, so all have the same mind. A husband and a wife are supposed to have the same mind. The two have become one. They're supposed to have the same goals, the same
Wants and needs.
same wants and needs, the same trajectory.
Right.
Alright, the same encouragement to one another.
Right. Exactly.
When the husband has to do a certain thing, the woman needs to be encouraging him
And vice versa.
boosting him up, and when the woman has to do a certain thing, the husband needs to be right there for her as well.
Right.
Alright? So keep reading.
Alright. Not rendering evil for evil.
See, that's what a lot of people do. They're, my husband did this to me, so now I'm gonna get back at him by doing this, or vice versa. Yeah. You ain't supposed to do that. If let's go back to the one body analogy. If my arm over here on my left side, if I run into a wall by accident or something, right, and now it's hurt, now my right arm will do the same thing because it wants to know. That's ridiculous.
Right.
That don't make no
Straight
sense.
stupid.
All right. So keep reading on that. Not rendering evil for evil.
Or railing for railing.
Railing for railing, that's when somebody raises their voice, so now you raise your voice so that you can be on the same level, and then it just escalates and escalates.
You can't even hear because everybody yelling.
Exactly. Alright?
Alright, but contrary-wise, blessing.
Exactly. So when, if you're a woman who's coming into the truth, and your husband ain't in righteousness yet, and y'all get into an argument, he starts yelling at you, bless him. See how he turns around and he stops yelling at you?
Right, exactly.
That's how that works. If he is somebody you're supposed to stay with.
Exactly.
If God brought y'all together, whenever somebody starts going off, if you do not sink to their level, but rather stay righteous, that's going to make them feel ashamed of what they've done.
But, okay, blessing. Knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing.
Exactly. So bless the way that you want to receive blessings.
Right. You reap what you sow.
You reap
So as long as you're
what you sow.
sowing blessings, even when you're getting cursed, the Most High is going to render you the same thing you sow.
Right. So it is true that the women here, especially here in America, have a big job to do. As far as the way that you gotta live your life is gonna be so against the grain from what we are taught here in America. But the men have a much larger shoes to fill because we're supposed to be living like Christ. That's our example.
Right.
The woman's example is Sarah. She messed up a couple times, but she was still chosen by God to be righteous. So if you just live up to Sarah's example, then you'll be righteous and you'll get the kingdom. Whereas men, we have to live up to Christ's example.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna say.
So
Y'all be grateful for y'all.
exactly.
Like it says in 7, because they are the weaker vessels, so therefore their goalpost
Yeah.
is a lot further down.
Yeah, I didn't even touch on that. The women are the weaker vessel. We see this physically, but it's also a spiritual thing. Women get very emotional very easily, whereas men usually have a capacity to stay
to compartmentalize.
Yeah, to compartmentalize and to stay in the spirit of the Lord. So with that, hope y'all learned something.
Right, Lord will.
I say shalom. Most high in Christ bless.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless us. We'll stay in the spirit.